Hundreds of people are packed into the main square in Pamplona, eagerly awaiting the sound of the rocket that will signal the beginning of the daring feat that they are about to embark on. None of these individuals know whether they'll be injured, dead, or will leave without a scratch on their bodies at the end of this conquest. After it probably feels like hours of waiting, the rockets are finally fired and they begin to run, but they are not alone. There is a herd of 6 bulls running after them, and it is everyone's job to outrun them or run the risk of being seriously injured. This event called Encierro, or running with the bulls, is just one of the many activities of the San Fermin Festival in Spain. Along with the Encierro, the festivities also include the Chipinazo and the annual bullfights. At 10 o'clock in the morning on July 6th, people from all parts of Pamplona and the surrounding villages leave their homes and all head into the same direction, the square in front of the city hall. This is where the fiestas begin, as the first rockets mark the beginnings of the festivals, and for many people, this also marks the last moment of sobriety for the next 9 days. All dressed in white and waving red neck scarves, they wait in anticipation for a member of the city council to come onto the balcony and mark the start of the festival. According to Pamplona Man, the red scarves represent the beheading of San Fermin, after which he became saint. The scarf moustache then became a festival tradition in the 1980s. The fuse of the rocket is lit at 12 o'clock sharp on the second floor balcony of the town hall. The mayor and members of the council step out onto the balconies of the town hall to greet the crowds. A not a member of the council shouts an announcement, and the crowds respond with chants of Viva and Gora. A rocket is then launched into the sky as the chants are being yelled and the festival begins. In the first picture, you can actually see everyone waving their red scarves. It's like a sea of red, and the white stuff is actually flour being thrown down at the people, and everyone who lives in the balconies around them throw down buckets of water to cool off the crowd. And at one point, wine is thrown all over the place, and including flour, which looks like a big food fight. You can see the shirts are all drenched in red because of the wine. The running of the bulls is a big part of San Fermin's. It would be unimaginable in any other part of the world, but it's an event at the heart of the festival. The history of the running of the bulls, or the Encierro, is not really clear. It apparently started out as a way to get the bulls from the corral to the bull ring to running them through the streets when bullfighting became a famous pastime. The running also starts the fire of rockets. As the first one goes off to alert the runners, and the second one to alert them that all 6 bulls have been released. The runners then begin to literally run for their lives as the bulls run after them. According to CNN, there have been 15 deaths since record keeping began in 1924, and thousands of injuries in a tradition that dates back to 400 years. Just the overall injury count for this year, where 15 runners are hospitalized, including 4 who were gored, which means being pierced or stabbed with a horn or tusk. And at the beginning, you can see the bulls running after the people, and it looks like someone's about to get toppled over. And this is how someone would get gored, basically, with the bull on top of them or right behind them, and it looks like it's going right for his neck, so it's pretty dangerous. But the Encierro would probably not even exist if it weren't for bullfights, which is another central part of the festival. The bullfighting takes place from July 7th to the 14th at 6:30 p.m. in a stadium that basically looks just like this every year. It's round, and all the spectators are crowded around it, wearing the red and white like they are at the rest of the festival. The fighting is then divided into 3 parts. The first part is called the barras, the second part is called the banderias, and the final part is the fight to the death of the bull. In the first part, the men called the peones tempt the bulls with their red capes, so that they can examine the qualities of the bull and see how it reacts to them. They lead the bull up to different sections of the ring so that his reactions can be carefully noted by the bullfighter, as you can see in the second picture. The bullfighter will then play with the bull with the yellow capes to learn more about the way it changes and turns. In the second part, men called the banderilleros take up positions with a dart in each hand, and they run at the bull and stick these large darts that have a small steel hook at the end into the back of the bull. The bullfight then ends in the death of the bull. According to SanFermin.com, if the bullfighter has been banned, the crowd will boo and hiss and show their displeasure, and the bullfighter will just have to wait for a better day. The ritual of bullfighting sounds cruel, and there have been many protests against it, and at points there's PETA protesters that stand outside the stadium, and they protest against it, and it makes people pretty angry from all around the world. But it's a big part of the San Fermin Festival. The Chipinazo starts off this great festival and is continued with many activities which include the bull running and the bullfight. The fiestas are celebrated in honor of San Fermin, even though religious aspects seem to have taken on a smaller role over the past years. Nowadays, the fiestas are a mass gathering of people from all corners of the world, and where the partying, fun, and joy of it all are the best parts.